Hello and welcome to When Wagon Wheels Were Bigger. We re-record, but we don't fade away. With me as always is Martin Fresh.
That is my name and this is my voice.
That is his voice, the voice of an angel, some have said.
Oh, that's very kind.
Oh, don't mention it. So, for anyone who maybe hasn't listened or just doesn't care, this is a podcast about children's TV shows of the 80s. And we talk over them, talk about them, maybe mock them, maybe like them, maybe don't like them, maybe hate them if it's Legend of Zelda, but we talk about them nonetheless. And this week we're doing He-Man, not in a sexual way, you understand, even though he is a big, hunker-loving man.
He really is. But, yeah, it was about time, really, wasn't it? I don't know whether have we been putting it off just to try and save it up because it was such a big cartoon, or are we not putting that much thought into it?
I don't think we're putting much thought into anything we do, so I'm not sure if it's that. But it was, I mean, we've talked about shows that were big parts of our childhoods. For example, The Real Ghostbusters is a big part of yours, and we haven't touched on that yet properly.
No.
And obviously Mask being a big thing of mine. But I think the trio for me were Mask, Transformers and He-Man.
Yeah, I think for me it was probably Turtles, He-Man and Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So He-Man there is our crossover point.
It is, and my trio is certainly better than yours. My trio could win in a fight.
I'm not going to argue because they're all pretty crap when you watch them back, so I don't think there's much to win in that competition.
I think we've established that Mask is not crap.
No, actually, no, Mask isn't crap. That is a good point.
I win.
But He-Man is crap. Spoiler for anybody who cares.
Spoiler. Do you know what? I quite enjoyed watching it back.
Did you? Okay, well that's good then.
Yeah, I mean, as
only
ever,
50% disappointment rate on this episode.
Yeah, as ever, I was watching it very late in the evening, pushing the witching hour when I was watching it. But I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't terrible, but we'll talk about that more after we've watched it. So in terms of, it always goes back to toys. Most, kids shows of the 80s had some sort of toy line. I certainly know I had a lot of He-Man toys. What about you?
I definitely had a lot, yeah. Actually, it was a couple of years ago that we were clearing out my mum's garage, and I found the Castle Grayskull playset, which I think your children have now, don't they?
They do.
Everybody was telling me you should put it on eBay, and I just couldn't be bothered, and I'd rather see it get played with. So I was quite pleased.
Funnily enough, I have looked it up, and I was interested. And it's not. You really have to have everything with it.
Yeah, it was the front and back.
It was like the shell.
But that's about it.
But even so, when they have played with it, they've enjoyed playing with it. And
it's a cool sort of background to most action figures of that size, I think, because you've got the big drawbridge. So actually, even for smaller figures, that would work quite well.
Yeah, and it was quite nice because I never had any of the vehicles or any of the play sets for He-Man. I didn't even have Battle Cat. I classed Battle Cat as a vehicle in this show.
See, now I did have Battle Cat, and I think you've shared a lot of your childhood traumas. So I'll share one of mine. It's not a trauma. It's a trauma. It's sort of a first world problem style trauma. In that I did have Battle Cat and He-Man, and I loved Battle Cat. That was actually probably my favourite of the figures, or by you classing it as a vehicle. But I know when I was younger and still very much into He-Man, my Uncle Jonathan came round at one point, and my Battle Cat, something was inside it that made it rattle. You call it Rattle Cat. If I was clever, I'd have thought of that joke earlier. And he decided that he would take it apart to take out whatever was inside that was making it rattle. But his plan for putting it back together didn't involve gluing it. He just wrapped some parcel tape around it several times, and it was never the same really after that.
Didn't he go into a career as a toy restorer?
He didn't. He really should have done. For horrible kids who didn't deserve toys is what he should have been doing that for.
Like the next Sid in Toy Story.
Yeah, very much. That sort of level of finesse was applied to my Battle Cat reconstruction. So if you're listening, Uncle Jonathan, I haven't forgotten, and I never will. But I did find it in that same garage clearance, just sort of in two halves, which proves that he was not a master toy fixer.
That's a shame. That's a sad
It was
story.
a shame because Battle Cat was awesome, but I don't hold a grudge or anything. I do hold grudges quite often.
I'm holding a grudge for you.
You should. I hope everybody who's listening to this is. And if anybody knows my Uncle Jonathan, go and tell him how much that hurt me.
See if he cares.
He won't care. He probably barely remembers what I look like.
Oh.
So, so I had quite a lot of the toys, and this is another one like Mask that you watch an episode and you're sort of ticking off in your head which characters you had toys of. Well, I was.
It is a case of, wow, they look nothing like the toys in most cases.
See, I don't know, because at times He-Man is sort of squatting, because the figures were horribly out of proportion. When you look back at them,
they
did have massive, all torso and little tiny crouched legs, like they're all doing a shit in a field. And there are several times, in furry pants. But yeah, there's several moments where He-Man does look to be squatting, or like his legs are tiny.
Having a big eternia poo. Because what I never understood was why Man-at-Arms had a moustache in the cartoon, but the figure didn't. Like, it was just a generic soldier, the figure.
Wasn't that the original idea, that the figures, the Man-at-Arms figures, were just like a sort of generic soldier force, and then they just took that character and made him into a main player?
Well, that would explain that then.
Got a feeling. Again, I haven't looked that up, so that could be wrong. But I do have that. I get the feeling I have read that somewhere when looking into that.
Probably what it is then. I mean, I've keeping to form, not looked anything up. I mean,
no,
I've got better things to do, like eat a load of chocolate, like I was before we started recording.
But it is a case of the toys were made first, isn't it? In this, and they sort of just made a cartoon. It was like around it.
I do know this because of when I used to collect Serial Geek. That it was like they had like the mini comics to kind of test the waters and things, and it kind of slowly turned into the cartoon series or something along those lines. Anyway.
Yeah, but I was living in Germany at the time, so the mini comics that came with mine were all in German. They were German translations, so I couldn't really get very much out of them.
Nobody knows German.
Not even Germans. They pretend.
Germans.
They just all nod and laugh.
Ha ha ha! Nine. That's all it is. I've been to Germany.
Yeah.
Well, when I visited you, it's not quite Germany. It wasn't really Germany. It was in Germany, but it wasn't really Germany. Yeah, but it was in Germany, but it wasn't really Germany, was it?
Self-contained sort of
It was like an island of
English-speaking people.
The only weird thing was the convenience store which sold like weird German stuff, like paprika crisps. What's this madness? Where's the cheese and onion? And now I like paprika crisps. So
madness in the 80s, but commonplace now. It's just one of those crazy futuristic things you never saw happening.
I know. I was scared. And we went to see Hot Shots. This is by the by. But there we go.
Yeah, we did.
We did. It's one of my memories of Germany.
Yeah.
So this is the first broadcast episode of He-Man, Diamond Red Disappearance. The first one that was made was the Cosmic Comet, but we thought we'd plump for the first one that in theory, we would have seen. Probably wasn't the first one. I doubt very much I jumped on board in the first episode. But, the first broadcast episode anyway.
Don't remember any of it. I don't know. I don't, because as we watch it, we'll see. But people are getting introduced sort of very specifically. They all seem to be drawn towards, or Skeletor brings them back to Snake Mountain, doesn't he?
Well, it's a bit of like in Mask. It's a bit Mask. I'm doing it again. It's a bit of a it's a bit of a roll call, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I think everything is in this. It's just let's name everything just to make sure people know which kids know which toys they want to buy.
But not so much for the heroes, which I found interesting. At the end, they kind of gloss over the two that show up to help. Yeah. Two of the best characters as well. Two that I never had, which is upsetting for me looking back. Although I don't think I had any of the villains that are shown other than Skeletor and Beastman either. I had some of the more obscure ones.
When I look back, it's I don't think I had very many of the villains either. I know I had a couple of She-Ra villains because they were quite interesting designs and stuff. But we'll go into that when we look at She-Ra.
Yeah. I always wanted Fisto. Shall we play the episode? episode 1 of He-Man. On the count of 3, 2, 1, Orko.
And the Masters of the Universe.
This opening, obviously, I think the remake they did in the early noughties, I thought did a really clever take on this opening, where Adam comes out and says, "I am Adam," and then it just starts getting attacked, doesn't it?
I can't remember.
Do you remember that? Because he looks different to He-Man in the newer version.
Oh, he was like a scrawnier and a younger looking character,
yeah, so
wasn't
it
he?
made it was more like Shazam than...
I suppose, yeah,
to a
with the
point.
sort of lightning as well, yeah. Oh, there's an intact Battle Cat.
Yeah, where's the gaffer
memory
tape
that
holding them together?
I don't have.
He's going to punch me. Ah.
That's quite an aggressive introduction to him, isn't it? It's just like, I am the most powerful man in the universe.
Fuck you!
Pow! Right in the kisser.
Pa-pow! Boom, right to the moon. I never had Trapjaw. Merman, had Beastman. The Beastman figure was awful, just like he had too much makeup on. Like mascara around his eyes. And in fact, he kind of looks like that in this episode as well.
Yeah. Because, well, they're all basically the same body with just different head molds, aren't they?
Well,
and even, you can see in this episode, even the female characters, because Teela and Evil Lynn are just, even in the cartoon, they're just like repaints of each other.
Yeah.
They've got the same like snaky or, snail shell bra thing.
Yeah, I didn't
Bustier.
like it. It didn't do funny things to me.
No, definitely not.
Beastman's standing like he's pooing in his pants.
He is, isn't he? Yeah. Skeletor's voice is brilliant, though. I did still enjoy this performance. He's loving
it's the
being
best version of
Skeletor.
Skeletor they've ever done. I mean,
Yeah.
do you remember the one that comes like a follow-on to this one, where they went into space, didn't they? I think that was in the 90s.
He had eyeballs in that,
He had
didn't he?
eyeballs. He-Man had a ponytail.
Yes, yeah.
I think it was Glastonbury He-Man. So I hated that. And what's this thing as well? He just like strokes its face gingerly, this weird insect thing, and it sends out the beams to bring them back.
I don't know.
The whole time he was holding that box, I was hoping he'd open it like a rubber snake was going to fly out.
Or just looking into the gem of disappearance or the diamond of disappearance.
What's Merman doing to that fish?
I don't know, but the fish is definitely happy to be thrown away.
It's a gormless looking character, Merman.
He's just shocked constantly.
I never had Merman.
No, I didn't.
I never had Evil Lynn because it was a girl.
Because it's a girl figure. Nobody wants girl toys.
It was girl toys. Even if they have got seashell boobies. So I didn't have her.
What if one of these characters had just been on the toilet before he just teleported them back to Snake Mountain? That would have been really awkward.
I never had Triclops.
No. So I don't think I had many villains at all. I know I had Skeletor.
I had several versions of Skeletor.
I had the original, and I think I had that one where you punched him in the chest
Yeah, I
and
had
it
that,
rolled
the
around
battle
and it was
armor
like
one.
battle damage, yeah.
I never had Trapjaw either.
No.
Where does he keep his attachments? This is something that is quite noticeable later when he suddenly starts putting attachments on.
I don't know what he's got against those rocks.
He's showing he's a badass. Look at his jaw.
Just, I'll shoot rocks. I can do what I like.
Fuck you, rocks.
It's sort of strange that this is one of those few cartoons where the evil villain's lair and the hero's headquarters, you wouldn't necessarily know which is which. Castle Grayskull looks like a villain's home as much as Snake Mountain does.
It really does. It's not this episode. I'm not sure why they use this as the first one, because it's not really a great introduction.
No.
Action-wise, anyway, to the premise of the show, which I still think is a good premise. It's very simple, kind of a fantasy world, villains,
Yeah.
Heroes, fight.
And sort of spaceships and sword and sorcery stuff all mixed together.
Yeah, it's a nice mixture. Triclops has got a really bad mullet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can't cope with that. I don't like it.
Did the toy of Triclops have like a hole that you could look through the back of his head or something? Did he have a weird...
No, but
eye?
it had a hole you could do other things with.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, I didn't have Triclops. I think a friend of mine at school, someone I haven't seen since I was about 7 years old, George Willis, I think he had Triclops. and he used to kiss the boys, and so it was Georgie Porgy Puddingham Pie kissed the boys and made them interested.
Good work, George Willis.
Yeah, made them unsure.
Made them confused.
I wonder what he's doing now. Bet he's not doing a podcast about He-Man, loser. That grill on Man at Arms' armour, you know, the bit just under his head, that kind of...
Yeah.
Seeing the figure is higher up, like a not a visor, whatever knights had, you know.
Yeah.
But
he's just a very messy eater. It's so he can catch all the popcorn when he goes to the cinema.
Well, look,
and not the eggs, though.
He's got egg. He's literally got egg on his head. That doesn't work. That's
on his helmet.
He's literally got an eggy helmet.
That is a terrifying laugh from Prince Adam there for no real good reason.
It is that whole Superman Clark Kent thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but even worse, because all he does is have a spray-on tan and take his clothes off.
Yeah, and just puts on his furry pants.
So he's wearing purple furry pants as it is.
Because the story is, isn't it, that the Queen is from Earth.
Oh, okay, I didn't
and was
know
an
that.
astronaut that got stranded on Eternia, I think.
Really?
Something along those lines.
That's quite interesting.
And
that wasn't meant to
she's-
sound sarcastic.
It's fine. And obviously she's the mother of She-Ra as well, because they're twins.
I didn't... I thought they were cousins all that time, but...
No, they're twins.
I had one of those flying things, because that actually, the toy attached to a sort of tank that, you know, so you could be driving along in the tank bit, and then that front sort of
cool.
jet ski thing come off and fly around.
What was the thing? It was like on tracks. It's like had a dragon's head. It would move on its own, because George Willis had that as well.
I had that too.
Attack Track or something.
Attack Track, I think that's right. Yeah.
Is that right? Was it George
nice,
Willis,
simple
or
names.
was it the other friend of that year, Stuart Biss?
George Willis or Stuart Biss, if you're still into He-Man and you've stumbled upon this this podcast,
Bizarrely, if you
tweet
could
us.
maybe tweet, it's Mark from Netherstone. Oh no, give away where we live. From
But
the
just
village.
tweet at Spread the Whimsy
Just
and,
tweet at Spread the Whimsy. I'll cut that
and
bit
tell
out.
us, was it Attack Track? Because we're not going to look it up.
We're not going to look it up, and also maybe we could be friends again. It's been a while.
If you still got the He-Man toys, we can all be friends.
And also, if you're still into experimentation, give me a call. They're quite impractical, these flying devices, aren't they?
They don't look safe. Yeah.
And also, I don't understand how they fly. And why have the baddies got them? That's right, baddies, not villains. Baddies.
It's quite good that Teela is referred to as captain, like she's in charge of the soldiers. I didn't remember that. It's good, progressive.
That's exactly the word I used last night. Debbie came in and said, I said, this is quite progressive, because Teela's the captain of the guard. And then not long after I said it, the next bit happens where He-Man saves her. So,
yeah, and then she sort of swoons a bit.
Actually, maybe not quite as progressive as I thought. But yeah, it is exactly the word I used, progressive. Because what was this, 1983?
83, yeah.
And everyone hated women in the early 80s, so this was quite progressive. It was a show about a homoerotic man. What was she pointing her sword in his face?
She was going to stab him through his face.
She was, but now
But
she's
it turns
scared.
out his face is made of metal and can bite through swords.
But she's not trying to do anything else to stop him.
She's run out of ideas. I pointed my sword at him. I'm all out of ideas.
Trapjaw's rubbish. I'm glad I didn't have him now. He's really, really... Look, he's taking off his gun arm.
Yeah.
Attack him in that time. It's either, you know...
Just punch him with your rear arm while he's bending your gun.
Exactly. It's quite a cumbersome special feature, really, to have swappable arms.
It is. Unless, well, as a toy, it's brilliant, but in a story, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all. It's
Because,
really...
like you say, he's got storage issues. Like,
Yeah.
is he keeping them up his arse? I don't know.
Has he got a special backpack that he's Tipexed his name on? Trapjaws, stay out.
He's got a diary in there. It's full of like Skeletor smells. Smellator. Beastman is gay.
Skeletor's got no eyes. How does he see? Awful. say it now. Orko is the Scooby-Doo. Not Scooby-Doo, the Scrappy-Doo. I'm going to have to start naming Scooby-Doos now as well. The Scooby-Doo of the group.
The Scooby-Doo is Cringer, because he's basically...
he's literally Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Well, not literally.
No, because he's literally Cringer, but
literally
he's very
Cringer.
much like Scooby-Doo.
But I mean, the sorceress... Is she like Uatu the Watcher? She's not allowed to
pretty useless.
interfere.
She just likes to fly around and watch things.
Oh, she just flies. Well, actually, she's made to disappear, isn't she? In a minute by looking in a box,
Yeah.
in a glowing
She could have
box,
just flown away.
or looking in the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Diamond MacGuffin of disappearance. I had Orko as a figure. Did you have Orko?
Yeah, because he did that weird spin thing, didn't he? You just
Yeah.
fed the like a plastic strip in him and just pulled it like a lawnmower start.
And he'd spin
Handle
around on
thing.
the spot. He's got a lightsaber. I bet he's got a laser axe. So
He's just the worst soldier in the world. Well, I'll do it with my bare hands then. Well, go on then. You've got loads of time. He's getting his box out.
exactly. And the amount of time he takes with his frigging
Go
box.
and kick his skull teeth in his face.
I'll get your eagle first. Bloody hate eagles.
And she's not exactly a priority target because she's got no powers away from Castle Grayskull, as they tell us a few times.
Oh, she's bloody useless. She's really useless, but kind of nice in a kind of weird, sexy cartoon way. See, now these robots, I thought that I remember them being in like She-Ra with Hordak.
I
These
didn't
little
remember them at
robots.
all.
Because although saying that, I've got the He-Man iOS game. It's probably on Android as well. It's like a platformy thing, which it's kind of it's really good fun. It kind of mocks the show as well. Like Skeletor was saying, I didn't think you were animated well enough to get out of that trap and things like that. But it's got all the original characters in, like Beastman and Merman. And you fight these villains at the end of so many levels.
Well, like a sort of side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's really nicely animated as well. It's a really nice little game. Very simple, just tap the screen to hit and you earn extra powers and abilities as you go through it. A Man-at-Arms comes in, you can buy Man-at-Arms to come in and shoot things if you're in trouble.
You can buy him?
You can buy him. Like a whore.
Have they got the voice actors then, or is it just all written on the screen?
Yeah, it's speech bubbles.
Ah.
But those robots are in that, and when I remember playing that for the first time, probably a couple of years ago, thinking, well, I'm sure they were.
I didn't remember them. I didn't remember them at all. The design is a bit weird. It looks out of place, definitely.
Well, that's another reason looking at it, because they look more like the evil horde. I don't know if they're robots or people in suits. Actually, I'm not sure, but they look more in keeping with that. I thought, what is that reflection of him? What's going on there?
He just gazing into his own reflection. Just enjoys looking at his buff, tanned body.
He-Man, help us. Even though I'm the sorceress, I seem to have no abilities or powers whatsoever.
You can change into a bird.
We can all do that. I'm doing it now.
The shot that she showed, or when she faded away, I don't know if that was a demonstration of where they're being held, but it looked like a sort of 80s arcade.
Yeah, like a really crap. I forgot the name of the. What's that? The blocky game, Cubert. Like a like a crappy Cubert. Now they've got spaceships, not spaceships, like gliders and things. Yet they've decided to walk to Castle Grayskull.
It's a nice day.
It doesn't look it.
For Eternia, that is a nice day. When the heroic character lives in an evil demonic skull-shaped building, I think that's quite a nice day.
I'd forgotten about. Is it Panthor?
Panthor, yeah, I think he says later.
Because you could get the vehicle of him. But I mean, it's still a vehicle.
He is a vehicle.
If you can
He's
ride
got a
it,
saddle.
it's a vehicle.
Am I a vehicle?
Just that one time you were. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, Panthor, the toy was sort of velvety covered, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think George Willis had that as well.
Just seemed like a bad idea for kids, sticky-fingered children playing with something that's got like a
terrible idea
material. Yeah, right. Imagine there were plenty of ruined Panthors.
Probably. Surprise, cockbags. And He-Man's just in there. He-Man won't be here. Oh shit, He-Man's here. Oh, why was
He-Man's at home.
He-Man's home. That's right, Beastman will run. and just get grabbed.
I loved this. I really thought he just threw him like into the moat or whatever, but he improbably hooks him on a spike.
It'd be fun if he's been impaled through the head. But then Ram Man and Stratos appear. And
But they don't really. I mean, he bounces around and Stratos flies. Stratos was my favourite figure.
It would have been my
remember I had
favourite
him.
if I'd had Stratos, but I didn't.
And I bought the. It must have been from the updated cartoon. I had the newer version of him as well.
Yeah,
Did I buy him, or did you get him for me?
I think I got him for you on
I
Christmas.
think you
didn't
might
I?
have got him for me.
But it's you had them both together, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Which
Yeah.
is quite cool. But-
Although the original didn't have his wings,
That's right. I remember now.
because I was a careless child.
Well, we were all careless, weren't we? If I hadn't been
It was
careless,
well
I would have
played
kept
with.
all my figures and sold them all for a fortune.
You wouldn't. You'd have displayed them on a
I
shelf.
would have displayed them on a shelf for a fortune. So this is a poor showcase of any of the figures I had, because so far it's only He-Man and Skeletor and Beastman. They're the only ones I had out of this. I had Buzz Off, the bee
Oh yeah, I had him as well.
one. I think he was only in one episode. Much like a lot of the figures, like Manny Faces, was only in like one episode as a circus performer.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
They've embarrassingly come in the same pants, Triclops and He-Man.
yeah. So those are all his actual eyes then, if he's getting dizzy, presumably.
I guess so, but then that means he's seeing at the back and the side
Yeah.
and the front all at once.
They haven't thought this through, have they?
No.
I had Webster, the spider guy. That
Always
like a
wanted
grappling
Webster.
hook. You could attach it to two things, kind of, wang him along the line. He was quite cool.
Did you have Moduloc?
I did have Moduloc. He was
I wanted
awesome.
that one already. Yeah, he was always cool because he came in like a big box, didn't he?
He did, and you could. I mean, essentially, I always found myself trying to use all the pieces to make one thing. I didn't like
Yeah.
the thought of having. I always wanted so he's got 2 heads, 4 arms, 6 legs.
Yeah.
But he was really cool. But yeah, I had all the evil Horde apart from Hordak for some reason. That rock monster was completely crap. That he just.
I
fought
like
there.
how He-Man looked scared and then just punched it once and it just crumbled.
Skeletor was quite ineffectual, really. His strategy is somewhat limited.
Let's just stand back and watch instead of running up and kicking him in the head while he's really struggling.
Imagine if we just stabbed him in the face right now.
I mean, it's fair to say that Skeletor is quite buff. He's probably got a bit of strength to him, looking at his physique.
I mean, they didn't really have fist fights in this,
No.
did they? But
That would have been brilliant. I'm just imagining a sort of slap fight that just goes nowhere. Just two guys, just
see, I'm going to kick you in the hands. Don't kick me in the hands. That Moltar and Space Ghost thing. Space Ghost goes to Ghost. That's what I've got in my head.
Exactly that.
Oh. Looking, I could crush a dam, and there's a little reference to Stu Francis from Crackerjack.
Grunting noises are really disconcerting, aren't they?
They are. Yeah, I'm not enjoying them.
No.
Orko.
I won't,
Orko is.
won't use them later as a soundtrack to anything.
No, me neither. Why would they reappear there? Why wouldn't they reappear where they disappeared?
Backgrounds are...
Sorceress
Well,
just flies in straight away. She doesn't try and help or thank them.
That's where all her powers are. She's just got to get back and be powerful in that one room.
Basically, she's a shut-in.
The Skeletor toy didn't come with that axe, did it? It came with the purple...
Came with his
Other half of-
ram head staff.
Oh, okay, yeah, it did come with that. Okay,
And yeah, the other half to He-Man's sword, bizarrely. Because it's supposed to... I'm sure in the... again... whether I remember this correctly or not. I'm sure it's kind of... the whole 2 halves of the same sword thing was the idea. I don't think they ran with it in the...
In the toys it
cartoons.
was, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the
because
toys
they
and the
slotted
comics, it was-
together.
Yeah, which was always quite cool. This bit in a minute with Prince Adam.
Yeah. It's genuinely funny, but probably not
Yeah.
why they want it, not how they wanted it to be
A bit of
funny.
an up the skirt shot for Orko there. Nice. Smash.
It's a very particular fetish, the Orko fetish.
It is. You've broken my shit, son.
He just the way he just laughs and oh well, it's only a wall.
That's quite creepy, actually. These are patting Cringer. And what the... Well, that was He-Man
Oh wait, there's a
Masters
lesson now.
of the Universe. Oh, of course, the lesson.
Here's your lesson. Don't try and shortcut your way through life like Skeletor does with his disappearing gem things.
If you get
Work hard.
If you get hold of a diamond ray of disappearance, don't try and shortcut through life by disappearing all your problems.
Work hard like I did by just stumbling upon magic powers and a magic sword.
And being a prince and being born into wealth.
Yeah, he's such a hypocrite, isn't he?
Screw you, He-Man. Tell me what to do. If I find a diamond ray of disappearance, I'm disappearancing everything.
The most surprising thing about this episode is the number of animators that are listed in this end credits.
Well, surely they only animated most things once, because they're forever using the same stock animation, aren't they?
Well, was it rotoscope?
Rotoscope, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's that weird...
The picture of the cast, isn't there? Somewhere I've seen.
Oh, I don't know.
With their I bet serial geek again. With like the lines on their faces, which is kind of a really rudimentary rotoscoping.
Okay. But it's that sort of stilted movement. There was, I don't know if it was in that episode, but I remember the sort of overhead shot of him running, stopping, and then running off again.
Yeah, they use that every week pretty much, I think, or every episode.
Just put some different background behind it, it'll be fine, no one will notice.
No one will notice.
But it looks as cheap as it probably was.
Yeah, it really does.
And there's no excuse for it looking cheap, because the amount of money they must have made off those friggin' toys.
Oh, they made a fortune. I mean, it was a real craze, wasn't it? I mean, there were lots of them in the 80s, admittedly.
They made a fortune off of my mum and dad alone. Bloody number of He-Man figures I had.
Yeah, and mine. But I was trying to think, though, because, I mean, how many years... Maybe from about the ages of 5 to 10, I was probably into that kind of... Well, maybe...
Into He-Man?
Well, into toys... of that, like from cartoon shows, maybe to 11, I don't know. I started getting into computer games when that became a thing, I suppose, in about 89, 90. But I was trying to think, there's only, about 5 Christmases and birthdays in that, and I got a hell of a lot of stuff.
But it's not just Christmases and birthdays, I suppose, is it? And it's from other people as well.
Well, I guess so, yeah. But
I don't know, and I remember, like you say, we go around friends' houses, and I know they weren't part of my collection, but you'd be able to play with more toys than you had as well.
Yeah, true.
Because I remember there was a kid who had a massive box of, even put my figure collection to shame, and had all the the Evil Horde, and just loads of the He-Man figures that I didn't have. And it's just they were crap toys when you look back, and yet I think, I don't know, there is still something quite
magical.
Yeah, not magical, but the nostalgia factor does make them that they're still interesting to look at, as crap as they are. Cause they did the sort of statue versions of the old style figures, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
That were quite recent, like the classic versions, the same way they did the turtles. These larger versions of the turtles that look like the versions from the cartoon.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there is still an appeal. Well, obviously, because there was a load of collectors that wanted them.
Yeah, it's like I said, yeah, magical is not the word, but there's something about the toys of that decade that seem to have, stirred a lot of, maybe it's nostalgic emotion.
Nostalgia works wonders, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's kind of,
I think
men of our age, kind of maybe early 30s up.
Men.
It's what?
Men.
Men. We're technically men. I mean,
technically,
I have a penis,
scientifically,
so I'm a man.
Scientifically speaking, I get classed as a man. Yes.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
it's
physically. I have all the physical attributes of a man. They may not be in scale, but
on a technicality, I am a man. But there is something, I think, about the toy adverts, because you don't really. I mean, maybe they do, but you don't seem to see the same kind of toy adverts, like action figure adverts. There's something very distinctive about that sort of that decade, because there's that episode of Community that we've talked about recently where Jeff is having those weird, is it like a dream sequence or something, and it's like G.I. Joe adverts with the toys, and they've made versions of him and some of the other characters.
And
I saw something on Facebook actually the other day, The Thing action figures, like done. Obviously, it must have been custom action figures, but they made like a sort of toy advert about the thing. So they had all the characters from the film, and then one of them with like a plastic thing that went on his head as he started to transform.
Yeah.
And it was just done in that brilliant nostalgic way that actually I really wanted those thing figures, even though I knew it wasn't a real. They weren't a real line.
Were they kind of in the style of the Star Wars figures?
I think so, yeah, or like Star Wars G.I. Joe kind of scale.
Well, yeah, I was going to say G.I. Joe were more, Action Force it's called over here, but yeah, more articulated, weren't they? But
yeah,
because there are a range of Kenner figures for films like Aliens, and I don't know if the Thing is one of them, so they might be actual toys.
Maybe they were then. Maybe they were, but the way that was filmed, it must have been a parody advert.
Yeah, it probably is. Like that great parody Jesus action figure advert from years ago. The Ark of the Covenant. And the kid's head explodes.
But yeah, it's that style of advert where it's like two kids playing on a weird sort of rocky surface that nobody ever really had access to, and they shouting things. And
yeah.
They had the Ghostbusters toy adverts, where they would. And it always annoyed me because they would bent the beam that was coming out of the proton gun around the ghosts.
Oh yeah, that would annoy me. It wasn't really made for that, was it?
No, it was just twirl it at the back. That's all you're supposed to do.
All you're supposed to do, you fucking.
But yeah, so I think that's what it is really. It's I don't know. It's like looking through when you were a kid. You ever used to look through catalogues at the toys?
Oh, all the time. I still do.
I still do it now. Yeah.
If you get in your Argos catalogue, I'll have a look and say, "Oh, what are the toys? Oh, they're all rubbish."
Straight to the Lego section.
And unless it's kind of, I still, I don't collect figures anymore, but I still occasionally look at the Fwoosh just to see what is coming out, just because I am still quite interested.
Yeah. I like to know what I can't afford.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't that long ago I bought the really cool new 52 Batman figure just because I thought, I've got to have a Batman figure.
Yeah.
Which is now hugging a Jane Austen figure on our bookshelf.
Oh, what, the Batman the Animated Series one?
No, the new 52 Batman.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you said New 52, yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking about things I want to buy.
That's what you think away.
Well, I was in Forbidden Planet over the weekend and was looking at the sort of, the Build-A-Figure, they do like the Marvel, this is going a bit off topic now, but the Marvel figures that are in like a deluxe packaging, they're all about 20 quid.
Yeah,
and you just can't justify it, and yet it's not like I haven't got plenty of articulated Spider-Man figures hanging around in boxes, but I can't help but pick them up and look at them and think, shall I buy another Spider-Man?
Yeah, no, it's
a sickness. It really is.
Yeah, it's a sickness I had when I would order figures from America. Just so I couldn't wait a month for it to come out over here. It was a sickness that I no longer have. Well, I kind of do have, but I can suppress it.
I can suppress it because if I didn't, I wouldn't have any money at all.
Yeah, I just had to find another thing to collect.
I just buy comics instead and waste all my money on those.
I collect failed hopes and dreams.
Oh, a swelling collection. So basically, as you say, that's another toy advert, wasn't it, He-Man?
Yeah.
But it did the job.
It did do the job.
And kept us watching and kept our parents buying because we were spoilt children.
Yeah, we were. There's no denying it.
I can't deny it.
We were. I was really spoilt, but I think I deserved it, so it's fine.
Yeah, you get just the right amount of being spoiled if you deserve it.
I think we've grown up to be quite well-rounded males. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you're right.
Debatable.
I think well-rounded males that want everything they want straight away, and don't want to wait,
and have just enough disposable cash to usually buy it for themselves.
Yeah.
After a short amount of time.
Yeah, and then kind of go, "Oh, I wish I hadn't done that."
Yeah. That gets less and less true. I just think, nah, bugger it. I deserve that.
I woke up this morning. I deserve that. As a treat.
Oh, I've made it through 2 days of work in a row. I need a treat.
Still alive. I need a treat.
Go on eBay and look at some old comics and buy them. Now, buy them all. Buy them.
Buy them. eBay wants you to. Don't upset eBay.
It's what it's there for.
Here's what it's there for. Just do it. Just do what you like.
Because obviously I said Stratos was my favourite. Who was your favourite figure? Which one was your?
Figure-wise, the one out of my figures, I'd say Manny Faces was my favourite.
Oh, cool.
But in terms of, I'm not sure about characters. Probably, you know what? Probably Skeletor was probably my favourite character. But the figure wasn't that great. Well, it was all right. It wasn't quite Skeletor, was it? Whereas Manny Faces was pretty much as he was in the cartoon. But
yeah,
you know. And
Skeletor's weird, the figure, because he's got very well. I suppose he's got a yellow. He's got like green around his eyes, and
yeah, they had something about putting colours around the eyes, like with Beastman with his blue eyeshadow. It's it's a bit weird, but Manny Faces was just really cool. I was so pleased when I got him. Just the monster face, the robot face, and the human face, which he never had on my Manny Faces. I think it was always the monster face.
My favourite figure, just for pure, just balls out, let's make money for doing nothing, wasn't there a robot He-Man that was just a blue repaint of the normal He-Man?
Faker. Or Fakor.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Is he blue in the cartoon?
I don't know.
Because
I'm not sure.
Presumably he fools people, but then they can't tell the difference between Adam and He-Man, so I suppose it's quite easy to fool everybody in Eternia.
Yeah, there's a really great Robot Chicken sketch where they send in Fakor, Prince Adam's at this party, and Skeletor sends in Fakor, and everyone, He-Man, this He-Man's really cool. then he comes in, they end up killing the real He-Man. Says, oh, I can be cool. Because Skeletor comes in and Beastman and some other villain, and they say, what are you doing, Fakor? You're ruining this, you're supposed to be infiltrating the group. And he just kills Skeletor and puts his head on a spike. And all the others, and then everyone looks shocked and goes, yeah, He-Man's killed Skeletor. And then He-Man comes in, is just really shocked that he's just killed people. It's a really good sketch.
Yeah. Oh, Robot Chicken's brilliant anyway.
Because then I think it ends with Man saying, well done, Adam. Who, Adam? Uh-oh.
Out of interest, and this isn't just because I tend to ask it every week, but out of interest, have your children seen He-Man at all?
I can't remember.
Any version of it?
Not recently, to my recollection. I may have shown them in the past.
I'd be interested just to see how hard they laugh at it, because I'm sure they would mock this.
I think they would, but they're watching things like Regular Show, Adventure Time, Amazing World of Gumball, which are all quite cynical, quite sophisticated cartoons. Look, I don't think anyone... An adult who doesn't watch cartoons would probably look at them and think, well, these are just stupid. But if you watch them... If you pay attention, they're really quite cynical and very clever. Very funny as well.
20 minutes of He-Man is stretching out 2 minutes of material.
Exactly.
And I'm being generous there.
I think you're being very generous. You're a generous man.
I like to think so.
Man.
So you said you quite enjoyed watching that, though? And I
did,
really
yeah. I don't know if enjoyed is the word, but I didn't hate watching it. I found it quite entertaining. It was a real trip down memory lane.
I only watched it earlier today. I mean, I'd got back from work and I nearly went to sleep watching it because I lay down and I just put YouTube on my phone and started watching it, and I just thought, I really am not in the mood. I had to force myself to continue.
See, whereas I watched it in bed last night. Nothing weird about it.
Watching a man in a furry bikini.
I mean, just because I put on my furry bikini to watch it in bed, there's nothing weird about it. But this is, typically around midnight, I'm sure I was watching it, and it didn't put me to sleep. I was enjoying it enough.
It woke you up, if anything.
It woke me up in areas I hadn't imagined.
It perked you right up.
Right up.
And who could blame you? I suppose that's. I suppose that should probably bring us to a close.
Yeah, they were talking about.
Before I say other things I regret.
Erection. So if you, you say it this week. Go on.
All right, I will do. So yeah, if you have access to Twitter, you can follow us. We are at Spread the Whimsy. That's both of us together, and we're fine with that. And if you've got a problem with it, that's your problem.
That's your problem if you're so narrow-minded that you can't accept
two
grown men sharing a Twitter feed. It's absolutely normal. I mean, there's nothing in the Bible against it, so just get over it.
Perfectly fine. There's nothing in the Bible about any Twitter rules.
You've got to really look for it.
I had to check.
Like you have to really look for anything really.
You can make it say whatever you want.
You
That's
can.
the beauty of the Bible.
It is.
You can also find us at, I'm going to get this wrong, facebook.com/toomuch.jam.
Oh, you nailed that.
Oh,
You
I
nailed
nailed
like
it.
Jesus to the cross.
This happens every week now.
I know.
It just,
Can I
there's
just say,
blasphemy in every episode.
I'm not a hater. I come across like it, and I apologise to anyone who's religious who's listening. I'm not a hater at all. It's just easy target.
I think that's it, isn't it? So that's Twitter and Facebook.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Eventually,
Yeah.
this will appear with the episode, so you can watch along. And I say eventually because at the time of this recording, I am behind by about 3 episodes. So maybe I'll get my socks in gear. That's not a saying. Pull my socks up, get my arse in gear.
But if you're really lazy, they're worth waiting for because you don't have to, you can just watch the video along with us, or
But
turn our
unfortunately
volume
for you,
down.
I'm quite lazy, so it's quite a bit of effort. So I am a bit behind, but eventually it
And,
will go up.
If you are listening to this on iTunes and you've listened all the way through, and that must mean you like it, so please subscribe and maybe write a review. You'll be funnier than us,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
just do something to let us know you're out there, because
Do a thing. Don't be so lazy.
We might as well be the last two left after an apocalypse, for all we know. Is there anyone even out there? I have no idea anymore.
It's like that episode of The Twilight Zone with Burgess Meredith, with just all the books. Like, at last, I have all the time to watch these 80s cartoons.
With all the podcasts. At last I have
And
the
then
time to listen to all these podcasts. My ears have fallen off.
My iPad screen cracks. No, it's not fair.
It's not fair, I had the time. Wah, 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 wah.
That's what he did.
That's what he did.
So that's how you can find us if you still want to after all this, and hopefully you'll tune in again next week, or if you subscribed, it'll automatically download onto whatever device you're using.
And I think that's a
And,
selling point
you
in
can-
itself. You don't
Yeah,
even
exactly.
have to download it. Your iPhone or your Android phone will just download it for you. I mean, that's the magic of modern technology.
It is.
I mean-
Stop being so lazy, people. Subscribe.
Somebody say, just fucking subscribe. Come on.
And so next week we'll be talking about another show, possibly related to this one. Ooh, teaser, spoiler, it's definitely related to this
It's
one.
definitely She-Ra.
So come back then and listen to us again.
Okay, see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.